Good day, all. This is Charles with the Exodus Logistics Learning Center, America's #1 dispatcher and freight broker training. Today is Wednesday, July 9th, 2025, and this is our Wednesday edition. We are in the second week of our second and fourth week Zoom trainings for dispatchers. We have them every second and fourth week of each month. Sundays at 11 a.m., Wednesdays at 6 p.m., and Saturdays at 12 noon. These are all Eastern Standard Time zones. So today is our Wednesday edition. So hopefully everyone is doing well. Have some guests coming in, do some Q&A, see how everyone's doing, where you are in your process. Hey, Mr. Ellis.
Hey,
I see Keontae's here. Hey, Keontae, Lawanda's on. Great to have you on, Lawanda. Um, so, um, David's here. Oh, Jacqueline, what the world, stranger? I can't hear you, Jacqueline.
I had to work. Yeah, I
Okay,
had to work.
all right.
Yeah, I had to work, and I'm probably gonna wind up missing Saturday because on Saturdays Blue Cross is mandatory. So I've been working. I gotta pay some extra bills up, So I'm trying to get some extra money here.
You gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah,
It's
gotta
okay.
do what you gotta do.
You gotta do
Yeah,
you gotta do what you gotta do until you can do what you want to do.
absolutely that part.
That part. Like the youngsters say, you gotta do what you gotta do. That part. That part. So,
Absolutely.
um, okay, so for those who are new and want, there's some guests coming on for some general Q&A. Want to answer a few questions. Um, what is a dispatcher, right? What is the purpose of the freight dispatcher? Do you think it's important for a dispatcher to understand the role of the carrier that they're going to be dispatching for? Do you think it's important for a dispatcher to understand the process of what a broker goes through, what a freight broker goes through when they book the load with you and give you a load to move for them, right? These are some generic type of questions, but we wanted to see how important um, they are for you. So, what is a dispatcher, guys? For those who've been doing it a while, I know I got a few people listening in. Mr. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Simsong Eloy, my wife was wanted to make sure that you came on tonight. She said he's a new student, or they are.
yes, I'm here.
Okay, how do you pronounce your name, sir?
The name is Simsong Eloy.
Simsong Eloy. Okay, I'll let my wife
Yes, sir.
know. My wife kept bugging me. Let me know if he comes on. Let me know if he comes on. I'm like, okay, I'll let you know.
All right, thank you, Tyler. Thanks. I think she emailed me earlier about the request.
Right. So, and then Miss Lawanda, how are you?
I'm fine. How you doing?
Okay. Do you have any particular questions that you?
No, not at this time. I'm just here to listen.
Okay. So Miss Lawanda is on the. She is. Well, can I share what you do,
Sure.
or you can share if you want.
No, I'll let you.
Okay. Miss Lawanda is she's on the government side of transportation logistics, right? GSA, General Services Agency. I think is it agency or administration? I think it's administration,
Administration.
right? And she's has a host of certifications, right? Veteran-owned small business, I think MBE, DBE, things of that nature. And I'm looking to assist her in understanding and navigating the logistics ecosystem in such a way that she can start to procure and win solicitations from the government so that we can move some of their freight. Is that about a roundabout high level way of saying it?
Yes.
Okay. So once we master that art, we'll open it up to because I have a host of dispatchers and we're trying to see how we can assist one another, right, with this government stuff. Okay, so Jaquetta, iPhone, Jaquita, am I pronouncing the name correctly? She's unmuted.
Yes. Can
Okay,
you hear me?
yes, ma'am.
Yes, it's Jaquetta.
Jaquetta. Okay, how are you? Are you guest?
Yes, I'm here with Zoe.
I don't have a Zoe on here yet. She may be on her way in.
And no, yeah, she's with the RDS transporting.
Okay, I'll wait for her to come in.
Okay.
And then we have a special guest in here tonight. Also, my or our Exodus Logistics Learning Center's um, factoring company representative, which is Monica. Hello, Monica.
Hey, how are you guys?
Monica is from
Yeah.
Seven Oaks, the best factoring company in the world. So,
Thank you.
so Monica, explain what factoring is for those who, and remember, this is a dispatch platform, right? We have a freight broker platform too, but for dispatchers, you're going to be working with your carriers, your truck drivers, helping them find loads. Well, at some point, once they deliver those PODs, they want to get paid, right? So they either get paid, there's three ways that carriers get paid that I understand it. Directly from a shipper, a customer, right? A brokered load, or if they have a factoring company. Well, here's one of one of the ways that the carriers get paid, a factoring company. So Monica, what is factoring?
Factoring, hi guys, how are you? Factoring is a fast pay program for carriers. So when the carrier moves the load, they bill it to the broker, and brokers typically pay 30 days, 45 days. They take that long to send the money, or they can send a quick pay in 2 days for 3%, 4%, 5%. What a factoring company do is what it does is instead of sending the invoice directly to the broker, they will send it to a factoring company. In our case, they get paid the next day at a 2% discount fee. So it's typically like a quick pay, but it's all the loads through the factoring company. So they
So
can
Monica, can I chime in at certain points where I feel that I need to ask a question? You mentioned that they get paid next day. Is that if they have the factoring company, I mean, if they have the PODs turned into you guys at a certain time the previous day? Is that correct?
correct. So that's after the load is delivered. Uh, the carriers will get a copy of the rate confirmation with all the instructions about the load. They go when they pick it up, then they go deliver the load, and they will have the POD signature, the proof of delivery signature on the bill of lading. So for Seven Oaks, we have an app where the carrier or the dispatcher can upload the rate confirmation and that signed bill of lading, and the app will read the paperwork and know how much they need to get paid and process that payment. So they will get their they send 95% advance of the invoice amount, and they get it the next morning. We send the invoice to the broker. When the broker pays, we take our 2% fee and send the carrier the other 3%. So that is it's 24 hours from when the invoice gets factored.
Good, good. So factoring company is a way of getting some cash flow to the carrier so that they can continue to run their business as opposed to waiting for the net payment terms of a broker and particularly a shipper, because shippers can care less. Their net terms are like 45, 60, whatever days, right?
Correct.
So, okay,
So
okay.
and so it's just a fast payment for the carriers, and also they can consolidate everything through the factoring company instead of chasing money all the way around, because some brokers pay in 30 days, some brokers pay in 45, some brokers offer a 2% fee or a 4% quick pay in 2 days. So it gets harder for the carriers to be chasing money around. They just want to sit in the truck and drive. They just want to see the money in their bank. That's all. So that's what makes it easier for them to just upload their paperwork through the app and get paid the next morning. And it's, a way that they just keep moving. Also through the app that we have, they can check on broker MC numbers, make sure they're approved through the factoring company, because there's a lot of fraudulent brokers or brokers that pay late, too late, they're not approved. So it's a way to check on those brokers. Also, this get a discounted fuel card and many other things that, it's easy to work through that app. It's just very easy for them, makes it easy for the carriers
So,
and
Monica,
also the dispatchers.
do you mind sending me the latest updated uh, functions and features that Seven Oaks had? Because I may have lost track of what you guys are doing now. Like you got the fuel cards and all the different features you offer. Can you?
Yes. I will create something that could have our updated, because technology moves so fast, and we have been keeping up with that too. So now we have an app and we have other benefits other than just factoring.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I will send another flyer or something to put on your page so dispatchers and carriers can see what we offer. So that's what factoring is. And as a dispatcher, you want to work with as a added value to your services as a dispatcher. You want to make sure your carriers are set up with a factoring company that's going to be supported to the carriers, that's going to be offering help and tools and a lot of communication and holding their hands for anything they need, especially if it's a new carrier. They're new to the industry sometimes, and those are the carriers that need help. They need dispatchers, and also they need factoring companies. So there's hundreds, if not thousands, of factoring companies in the country. We all, chase the same carriers that are getting their MCs and different services all across the board. Most factoring companies, especially the largest ones, they will lock carriers into a term agreement, usually a 12 months, 1 year, 2 year agreement that's auto renewable, and the carrier will sign up, and they, it's sometimes the communication is not that great. They don't even know that they being locked into a term. So if they find somebody else, or you as a dispatcher offer Seven Oaks because we don't have a term on our agreement, we don't force them to stay with us. So you offer that to a carrier, and the carrier said, well, for 2%, I don't, this sounds good, so I want to switch to Seven Oaks. But they already factoring. The other factoring company would tell them, well, you have to wait a year to leave. You cannot leave before the year. So that's one of the things that you will encounter while offering the services, because like I said, the carriers get support from factoring companies. That's what we should be there for. And they don't know really what factoring company is good, what factoring company, and they get so many phone calls, so many emails, because, the MC numbers are out there, carrier contact information is out there, public information. So a lot of people is calling them, offer the services. So you as a dispatcher are able to offer our services as an added value to your services. You connect them with a factoring company, and that way they are protected, because you and the carrier can check on and broker MCs. They will get their money fast at a low fee without being locked into a term agreement. And they will get a lot of communication and a lot of, very good service from us, very close relationship with our carriers. And so if you find a carrier that's new and you offer our services, if we sign up that carrier and we start factoring their invoices, we start earning 2% fees after those brokers start paying the invoices. From our 2% fee that we make, we share with the dispatchers 10% of those fees for the time the carrier stays working with us. So that's a referral program from a factoring company. Some companies offer a one-time $100 commission. We don't have that, but we offer a long, for the life of the deal, sharing 10% of the fees that we make by working with your referrals. So it's very important for the dispatchers to offer help so the carrier can continue working. It's very important for the carrier to have a good factoring company so they can get protection and a lot of information, resources in order for them to be successful. Because if they're out of business, we don't have a business either. So it's very important as part of the dispatcher to offer good factoring services for the carriers. So that's why I partnered with Charles for a couple of years already.
Yeah, we've been, what is it? We're going on what, 3 years now at this point? I
Two,
don't,
3 years. I think it was right after COVID or something. So
correct.
yeah, it's been a while in the ups and downs.
And I get hits, particularly from a large factory company such as OTR, all the time. But I tell them, once I commit to someone, I'm committed. So remember, OTR comes to me all the time. Wade and the guys over there. You wanna put your stuff on your website? Put a stuff. No, I got a factory company. Leave me alone. So I don't
And
want. Yeah. So
yeah, it's the same thing. I think there's plenty of, there's other training people and they all have a different way of thinking. They all have a different way of communicating and offering the services and offer the support. I think Charles and I, we know that we offer help, we offer service. We're not just to get money. It's building relationship, establishing partnerships.
and that's what I love. That's the intimate relationship. I can call Monica. I can't get a hold. If I call OTR, I'm going to get a switchboard. I don't like that. I'd rather call
Yeah.
somebody and be able to
I've
talk.
been with this company for 18 years. The company has been in the industry for 28 years. We have never had a switchboard or a automated answering machine. A
Right.
person will always answer the phone, and everybody gets my direct line. I'm always phone call away or email away. So yeah, we like it like that. We're not gonna change it.
Yeah, yeah, that boils me inside, man. I can't stand it. But
We don't-
what was I going to ask you? Well, first of all, let me see. Is there anyone that may have a question for Monica as it relates to factoring, carriers, things like that? Is there anyone?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Listen,
Yes, first of all, I'd like to thank Mrs. Monica for sharing that much information. I think this is an add to whatever I'm studying right now on the platform. But
yes.
as you were giving some information, um, do the dispatcher, does he have the option to actually choose a factoring company, or once the dispatcher is between the carrier and the shipper, I would say, or the broker, then he does not have the choice to choose a factoring company.
Okay. So
So let me
some
answer
care.
that, Monica. Let me answer that one.
Yeah.
Uh, so the dispatcher doesn't make the choice. It's the choice. So the factory company's clients are either a broker or in this case, the carrier. You
Okay,
you are the intermediary between the carrier and the broker. You're helping the carrier find loads. The carrier is the one, the truck driver, the person that you're going to be dispatching for.
mm-hmm.
If you met them for the first time and they don't have a factoring company, you can assist them in providing them with the factoring company to go with. Seven
Okay,
Oaks just happens to be our premier and exclusive factoring
Mhm.
company, and that will never change. And I'm saying that on the record, right?
Oh,
So,
thank
um,
you.
so that is the job of the dispatcher to find your carrier the best service possible. In this case, we're talking about factoring service. So
Correct.
when you do that, you look for certain indicators of factoring that a company may have. And Seven Oaks with Monica has checked all the boxes with me because you can best believe I did my due diligence.
Mhm.
So for me to speak on, I don't speak on stuff that I haven't done my homework on, right? So Monica has, and we've been together again 3 years. So the purpose of the dispatcher in regards to factoring is to assist the carrier in that regard as far as finances if they need a factoring company, because especially new carriers, if you're new you just started your trucking company. You don't have much cash flow. You may have a truck payment, a trailer payment. Your MC is new, right? Your authority is new. You're scrambling for money. You look at you're on the load board, looking at spot market loads, talking to these crazy brokers, some of which who don't give you a chance because your authority is so new. They're saying, well, you haven't proven yourself. You have not moved one load. Well, here comes a factoring company to assist with that, right? How does that work, Monica? How does a factoring company can assist a new authority carrier when it comes to brokered loads?
Okay, so first of all, I want to clarify that Charles and I, we love each other just because we like to work. The way we work is similar. We're just out there to help. He doesn't get any commission from me to sit here and talk to you or advertise, let's say. And I don't get any commission from him to talk here either. So we just love to give resources and information to new people in the industry, says carriers, dispatchers, brokers, so they can be successful. Again, because if dispatchers, carriers, and brokers are successful, we are doing a good job and we are also successful. So second of all, as a dispatcher, you have the freedom to work with any and many factoring companies that you want. This is just a partnership. You make your decision. If, I don't know, RTS, OTR, whoever think that you think that they have the best choice, or they offer you more money, or whatever decision, or if the carrier particularly wants to work with certain factoring companies, you're welcome to partner with them as well. So you're not limited to, oh, you only have to work with 7Oaks. No, because I believe in freedom. The company that I've been working for 18 years, we believe in freedom. It's your business. It's carrier's business. They take it where they want it. So we don't force or harass or nothing. It's just you're making your choice to work with us because we believe we have the best offer with best service, but it's your choice. So, and you, like I said, you're not limited as a dispatcher to work with only one factoring company. Now, not all of factoring companies offer referral programs, but you need to be smart to ask also.
Right.
So, and I said this because, like I said, some carriers, some friend of them, a friend, a cousin, somebody already sold them into working with OTR factoring. So you're not going to tell them, oh, I can't work with you because I need to work with 7Oaks. No, let them work with OTR. They will later decide that it's not the best choice. And then you bring them to 7Oaks if we can. But there's freedom with us. You're not forced to work with us, we just believe in different, in freedom of the business. So, and the carrier is the one that signs the agreement with 7Oaks as far as factoring goes. They're the ones that apply for factoring, and the ones that have the connection, the business, the service business with the factoring company. So the factoring company signs an agreement with the carrier.
Right. And let me say this. And this is a truism in life. What always looks good to you is not always good for you. Right? So keep that in mind. You want to do your homework, you want to do your due diligence. What looked good to you is not good for you sometimes, right? All the icing on the cake, but when you get into the layers, you realize that it's not really what you signed up for.
For example, RTS RTS factoring. I mean, I'm just talking names because I'm sure there's good factoring companies. There's some that are really bad, but everybody's trying to do their business as their probably corporate, dictates, or it's not that they're bad. It's just policies that I know. They can offer, any factoring company can offer. We offer 1%, and the carrier jumps and signs up with them. 1% for 15 days, and then it's 1% more for every 10 days. So there's always a fine print that they need to read, and sometimes the carriers jump on the pricing or whatever, and they don't really know, what they're signing. They get stuck and they can't leave. They get frustrated, and if something goes wrong, there's no communication, no good service, something goes wrong, they move a load for a broker that's fraudulent, and they go out of business. So if the carrier goes out of business, the dispatcher doesn't have a business, and the factoring company it loses the business too. So that's why it's very important to do due diligence, encourage the carrier to, find information, provide the carriers with resources and information so they can make their own choice. Never force them, because something that is forced, people will know that it's not a good situation. So that's what I found in this 18 years, that I offer my services. I check in. I don't call every day or email every day. I just give them the options and they make their own decisions. So, yeah, so that's what I was going, is just read the fine print. There's so many marketing words out there that offer things that sometimes sounds good, but there's not a whole understanding of what's being offered. So for that, even I'm available for any answer or questions that you may have about factoring, without forcing or offering or trying to persuade you. I just give information and you make your decision. So,
Great,
but
great.
experience is what help us suggest the best things, or just offer the best services, because we know what the carriers are needing and we know the issues that they encounter through their work. So, yeah.
Okay. I have Zoe on the line. Zoe's been with me for a minute too. Zoe has a carrier, or Zoe has some news for me. I'll say that. I don't know specifically what's your question, Zoe?
Hey, how everybody doing today?
How you doing?
Hi, Zoe. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So from my understanding and everything that was just explained, it's no way to get a carrier out of a factoring contract once they have embarked on one until that expiration date is up. They can't buy themselves out of it or anything like that. It can't be broken at all, correct?
Good question. Yes, there is an option that's called a buyout.
Right.
Which is a buyout, is what it is. The carriers has a factoring company. They have a list of open invoices with the factoring company that they are waiting on broker payments. So that's an account that they have with the factoring company. So if they want to switch to Seven Oaks, we offer something that's called a buyout. So Seven Oaks will buy out that account from the other factoring company. We review the list of open invoices. We verify with the brokers, that the payment can be switched to the new factoring company. And we send the wire payment to the former factoring and they release the carrier. We send the wire payment for all the invoices that are outstanding and they will release the carrier to us. That's a buyout. That's how it works. The problem is most factoring companies out there, they have a term. So they will say you're not allowed for a buyout until February of 2026. And some of them say, okay, you want to leave early, you have to pay, I don't know, $1,000, or you have to pay 4% of all the invoices that are outstanding. So there's terms on their factoring agreements that they need to be aware of. So when they encounter a better option or they want to switch, they need to know, they need to have a copy of their agreement and they need to know what the termination clauses are. Because the ones that have a fixed term and this auto renewal agreement, they have a certain period of time where the carrier needs to send a termination letter. It says not earlier than 90 days, but no longer than 120 days when the moon aligns with Jupiter or something. So it make it a little bit harder for them. But like I said, there's a wide variety of factoring companies. The ones that have a fixed term most likely will make them wait that term, but we don't quit. So I have carriers that have had to wait, and I keep checking in, following up, saying hi, sending a flyer, happy 4th of July, but I know already when their termination is, or when they have to send that termination. So I keep just checking in with them and for months and I send them reminder. Remember, if you want to switch, you have to send that termination letter and it will happen, So
Did
it's
that
just
answer your question?
persistency.
Zoe, did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much. You know, Monica, she's always so knowledgeable. So, and this is recorded, correct? Because I'm gonna need to go back.
It is. It is.
That's
Uh,
good. That's good.
one more question for Monica before I circle back to beginning dispatchers for those who are listening in for the very first time. Is there anyone else who has a question about factoring for Monica? Okay.
And if you don't want to answer the question, I mean, ask the question right now, maybe you come up with a question later, you can email me or call me. I would love to, no commitment, just answer all the questions. You know, I've been doing this for a long time, so at least as far as factoring goes, we can
There's
help
a
help
there's
you
a
out with that.
Jason.
Yeah.
Jason, you have a question? You typed in yes. Oh, what's the percentage on the funding? Not sure what he means by that, but
The what we charge the carriers.
yeah, yeah. Jason, are you able to unmute yourself? Let me ask you to unmute it on my end.
Oh, there's a lot of messages I didn't even see.
Yeah, but if you scroll down to the very last one,
Too good.
But
what's
hey,
hey Jason, there you go. Go ahead.
hey, I'm waiting on I'm waiting for a response back from my from one of my hotshot guys. He asked this question. He said, what are their percentage on funding? I'm asking him what do we mean as well.
Oh, so I guess I guess he's considering factoring. He wants to know how much Seven Oaks will charge. What is it, Monica? 2.5%?
It's 2%.
2%.
It's
2%.
2.5 for brokers because brokers, when we factor for brokers, 2.5 because it's a double operations that we need to do because we factor the broker's invoice. We also have to pay the carrier. So, but that's another group, another. But
So,
for carriers, it's 2%. And
2%.
we're doing
Okay.
2% flat. So there's no increase or anything. So
Okay, I'm fighting for you guys right now. He's battling between you guys and there's one called Strato, Strato Pay.
oh,
Have y'all
that's
guys have
uh,
y'all heard
if
of them?
so. If we never heard of them, then they must not be that. Well, I don't want to say, but but
Okay, I'm
but
trying to win. I'm trying to win y'all over right now.
well, some of the more common factoring companies, they got RTS, OTR, Foley's, Seven Oaks. There's a list of some common ones that offer closely similar services. Some of these little smaller mom and pop ones, they're trying to compete with the bigger boys or the mid-level ones by trying to compare similar services. But in the long run, you're not gonna win with them because at some point they're gonna get you with hidden terminologies. Like for example, uh, the UCC one lien, the filings and all these things, the fine print. You got to understand the difference between recourse and non-recourse factoring. You have to read the paperwork, guys. If you're gonna entertain the service of adding value as a dispatch service by providing your carriers with things like factoring, invoicing, helping them with all types of services, if you are going to decide to do that, let's stick to factory, for example. Read the fine print of the contract that your carrier and yourself receive from that factory company. Ask the questions that you need to ask. Because before your carrier signs that, you guys need to understand what that stuff is. Because that carrier is entering into and you indirectly are entering into a contract that's going to affect them for a term, right? Whether it's a year, 2 years, whatever. Read the fine print. And if you have questions, ask the questions. And that's just true in life. Like you get into a house, you're trying to buy a house, read the fine print with the mortgage company. You're trying to buy a car, read the fine print with the dealership. Things like that. So you want to be educated enough to add
yeah,
value for your carrier. And it goes a long way.
especially now with AI, you can build a huge whole company just with AI. So it's so quickly, there's a lot of new companies showing up, but what I would suggest, since I've been doing this for 18 years, experience is very important. Industry experience is very important. Customer service needs to be the top. And for customer service, starting with a phone call, with the phone line. Do they have an automated answering machine? Did they just, does a person always answer the phone? If the answer is no to that, that would be a completely just, you know, It's just a matter of you don't want your carriers to waste their time on hold on trying to get somebody on the phone. So and the fixed term agreement. So all of those things, I could put a list of what I know carriers would not benefit of having, like a
Put that,
long-term contract, a fixed term contract, an automated answering machine,
right.
a customer service part, the percentages, if it's 1%, but for how long? What are the terms, termination fees? All of those things need to be clear. And if they're not flexible and open and transparent, it's just there's something that's not good. So
if you don't mind, Monica, put those touch points in an email to me, and I'll put them on the website so everybody can see
sure.
what
Yeah.
what is advantageous or not in choosing a factoring company.
For example, there's some factoring companies that the carrier just talks on the phone with a salesperson and they're already filing a UCC lien just because they talked on the phone.
Right. And
So
then
that's big.
so you're saying terms. So I want to make sure that everybody understands. What is a UCC one? What is a UCC lien? What does that mean?
Okay. So since the carrier is getting money in advance from the factoring company, it's almost like a loan. So until that invoice is not paid by the broker, he's kind of getting an advance, financing that invoice. And factoring companies, we all need to file something that's called a UCC1. It's a security that tells these carriers is owing money to this factoring company. So any receivables they have needs to go to that factoring company. Any payments need to go to that factoring company. So that prevents for the carrier to sign up with another factoring company in getting that advance from two different places. That prevents other factoring companies to just send something called notice of assignment, just to send the broker's notice of assignment and getting paid that way. So the UCC filing is a security that factoring companies file under the carrier's business. So Seven Oaks, if that carrier was approved by send an application was approved, they sign an agreement and they never get to send an invoice, they're not committed to us. There's no relationship with us. They're not a client yet. So we don't have a right to file any UCCs because they don't owe us money. So that's how we think is the best way to go. But a lot of factoring companies, they sign an agreement for a year, but they never get to factor. They still file the UCC and they say, well, they signed the agreement, so they have to factor with us, and so all of those things. The first thing that I talk to a carrier, I check their MC number. The first thing I check is to see if they have a UCC1 filed by somebody. The fairly new, the companies that are new businesses, most likely they don't have anything unless they talk on the phone with somebody or they click check, put a check mark somewhere on an application online. So there's a risk for that too. So, and that's where referral is important. Referrals, instead of just getting to answer a call and sign up with the first phone call you have without doing research. So.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Good questions, guys. So I'm gonna circle back because I know there's some people in here who are here for the first time listening, first time students, even guests, right? And that I have invited, like Sherry and so on. Hello, Sherry. How are you? Let me unmute that for you. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you can. Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
Well, Donna
Yes.
right there put my
Okay.
contact
Yes.
information there. So.
Okay. How are you, Sherry?
Yes.
All right.
I'm
So
great. How about yourself?
okay, thanks for being
Okay.
here. I'm glad you made it. So let me circle back to this platform in the perspective of a beginner, right? So everyone can be on the same page, the same wavelength, if you will. Let's say I'm a person that say, hey man, I want to start a business. I'm tired of the 9 to 5. Tired of exchanging my time for money, working for somebody, relying on them, depending on them to feed myself and my family. Let me start my own business. Gee, what industry do I get in that's almost recession proof, perhaps, like travel or maybe even logistics and transportation. Those are two. The top one is travel, right? Travel is one of the largest ones. It's like over 8 trillion. Transportation is a close second with about 2 to 3 trillion, right? So, and they're recession proof. Even with the tariffs going on, things are still moving. Goods are still being shipped to and fro, being delivered. Transactions are still occurring, right? In transportation, people are still traveling. Holiday travel was up, right? So travel is still good too. So anyway, you decided to go into uh, the transportation logistics space, get into that ecosystem, if you will. So you ask yourself, well, gee, what's the easiest barrier to entry? What's the least cost entry point into this industry? Well, turns out that it's dispatching, become an independent freight dispatcher. Number one, you're not required to have any type of authority, right? Because the governing body of the transportation industry as it relates to brokers, freight forwarders, motor carriers is a group called the FMCSA, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. I'll give you their website here so that you can understand who they are. Taking you down memory lane. I'm gonna mute you for a second, Monica. Um, so if you go ahead and type in FMCSA, right, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, this is their official website. So you say, okay, I don't need as a dispatcher to um, I don't need an authority as a dispatcher to move in the logistics and transportation space as a business owner, right? So, but what I do need is to be a business. I can't be an independent freight dispatcher without having an official business license and operating as a business. No carrier is going to work with someone who does not have a business, at least have account for themselves as a business owner. So what you do need is your business name, your business license, right? Whether it's an LLC, an EIN, those things are required to operate as an independent dispatcher, right? Who in their right mind would not do that, right? Try to get a carrier without having a business in place. You can account for taxes. You're going to get audited. You're going to jail, right? Just to be clear. You can't operate as a non-business entity doing business with a motor carrier. It just doesn't happen. Now, do people do that? Of course they do, until they get caught, right? I'll be honest with you. So, have I seen it? Yes. Um, so the first thing you want to do is come up with a name. You want to create your business, come up with a business name. I suggest that you don't have to go with this, but I suggest coming up with a name that has a broad name, right? An umbrella type of name, like um, logistics, something with logistics in it, ABC or XYZ logistics, right? The reason I say that is because maybe one day you're not only going to be a dispatcher, but maybe you want to transition into brokering. Maybe you want to start a trucking company. Well, if you just call yourself ABC Dispatching Services, now you've just boxed yourself in and in regards to the name. But if you call yourself ABC Logistics, you still have a broad spectrum. You can put DBAs under that, doing business as or aliases, right? ABC Logistics, DBA ABC Dispatching, DBA ABC Trucking or Transportation, DBA ABC Freight Brokerage. You guys follow? You understand what I'm saying? Right? I want to make sure we're on the same page there, right? So even with the name itself, you want to be mindful of how you select it because that's an important piece, right? It may not seem like it's an important piece, but it is because now you would have to go back and edit and make a change, and that's just a waste of time. If you think about it starting out, you'll cover yourself then. Okay, let's say we get past that point. Okay. Next is, well, I want to be an independent freight dispatcher. Well, I know nothing about the industry. So what do I need to do? Well, I need to get some kind of formal training. Well, there are thousands and thousands of trainers out here online, right? There are hundreds of schools you can go to, right? So the question becomes, because you have to decide this, not me or anyone else, you. What are your criteria in deciding who you're going to go with as a trainer to provide you with the best tools you need to be a successful independent freight dispatcher? Those are questions you have to ask yourself, right? Now, I can make some suggestions to you. Can you talk to the instructor that you're getting trained from? Can you call them at any time and get questions answered? I check that box. Here's my phone. 757-515-1684. Is the platform real? Is their training course real? I've been doing it for 6 years, since 2019, right? What types of materials can they give you? Is it outlined and is it detailed for you? Right? Well, here's our portal. Once you decide, if you decide to enroll in this portal, and I'm not talking in a way to try to sell you anything. I'm just telling you what I offer, and you can kind of create your criteria for yourself using me as an example, I guess you would say, right? So I want to make sure I don't want to try to sell you something, right? But I want to show you what I've done, and you can use it as a base. That's the word I'm looking for. You can use it as a baseline, as a guide to decide which way you want to go. Okay. So does the course provide you materials? Does it give you access to things that you need, like a load board? So as an independent freight dispatcher, you're going to have to understand how to get the carrier, the truck driver, the owner operator. You're going to have to understand the type of equipment types, owner operators that you need to focus on as a new dispatcher, which ones are out there that you can get to first so that you start making your money the quickest. Okay. You're going to have to understand, how do you find loads for them? What resources and tools that you use? Well, the number one tools for new dispatchers is what we call a load board, right? Let me show you what that looks like. And what is a load board? A load board is online software that dispatchers and carriers and truck drivers use to find carriers their freight to load on their trailers. So because carriers get paid once they load freight, cargo, commodities on their trailers, pick them up from shipping facilities, transport them safely and securely to the delivery facilities, however many stops that is, and they get a proof of that delivery so that they can get paid by people such as Monica at the factoring company, Seven Oaks, or maybe by a direct shipper, or a factoring company, or a broker, right? So the purpose of the load board is to help that carrier in that process. Okay. All right. So what you, the dispatcher, need to know is how to navigate the load board, use the filters in the load board to find the best load for your truck driver at that certain point in time and beyond, to keep them running so that they can make money over and over and over again. You need to be up on market trends. You need to be up on the hot markets. You need to be up on the lanes where you send your carriers into and out of. Because what service will it do you as a dispatcher if you constantly send your truck drivers into dead zones to try to get loads? You're not making any money. And they're sitting there for days. And they're getting frustrated at you. Hey, man, I thought you knew what you were doing, says the carrier to the dispatcher, right? So if you don't have the knowledge of how it's done, then you're not going to be dispatching very long, right? So we provide that service of showing you how that's done, right? In addition to that, you would also need what's the documents you need to get the relationship going between you, the independent dispatcher, and your truck driver. Well, we have what's called a dispatcher packet, and other trainers have their particular Matter of fact, I've been counting lately for the past year and a half, about 10 different other trainers copy my templates and use them for their trainings. Can you imagine that? So Well, I don't care because I just created them from thin air, so it really don't matter. But it's the point, right? So what the documents you need is or are, we call it a dispatcher packet. We have templates where you can create your contract between you and that truck driver. We call that a dispatcher agreement. And you're looking at one right now, or our template, right? This is the initial start of building that relationship with the truck driver. Now, before I talk about these documents in the dispatcher packet, we have to get to the point of getting that carrier first. How do you get carriers? What are some of the steps and ways and methods of doing that, right? So we have cold calls, right? We show you what to say, how to say it, when to say it, things like that to kind of what types of questions to ask, leading questions to get the right answers, icebreakers, things like that. If you come from a call center or a customer service background, you will excel in getting carriers, hands down, right? So you have experience at call centers, things like that. So visiting truck stops. If you have physical truck stops within a reasonable amount of miles of your home, let's say 20 miles or less, you can visit truck stops, start a conversation with the drivers. The first icebreaker question, if you decide to visit truck stops, you should ask to a potential truck driver is, are you an owner operator or a company driver? Because there is a difference. Okay. What is the difference between an owner operator and a company driver? Company drivers drive for the company and they are dispatched internally with that company. That company has their own loads dedicated by their customers already, right? The owner operators, they find loads on the load boards or through direct shippers or dedicated freight. If they don't work, they don't eat. That's the difference. Those are the ones that you want to target because they have a greater need for your service. Am I making sense? Right? Am I making sense there? They have a greater need for your service. So, um, truck stops, cold calls. We have we have texting campaigns, emails, word of mouth, networks like LinkedIn. You can go to Facebook groups. There are trucking owner operator groups there. You can become a member, join the group, follow the rules of the admins in these groups, particularly on Facebook, and then become a fly on the wall. And at some point, somebody's going to say something about, man, I need a dispatcher. I'm having trouble finding loads. Privately DM that person and start that conversation. Give them your phone number, whatever, and then have the conversation with them later on, and then segue into, hey, I'm a provider of loads. I'm a dispatcher. I can help you. I'm a part of a large network that's good and great at finding freight and helping you run your company. I also provide other services in addition to dispatching. I can help you with invoicing, with factoring, yada yada yada. Right? So company drivers don't sign up with factoring companies. The owner operators do. That's a good point. Company drivers can't contractually sign up with factoring companies because they're under the auspices of the company that they're a company driver for, right? But owner operators are their own entities, so they can sign up with the factoring company. Great point, Monica. I'm glad you said that, right? So yeah, that's the difference between a company driver and an owner operator, right? So the first of many icebreakers can be, are you a company driver or an owner operator? Another cold calling icebreaker is, are you under a load or looking for a load, right? Under a load means your trailer's loaded, you're going to deliver it, you're going to be empty soon. Looking for a load means your trailer is empty, you're trying to find something, says the carrier, right? So those are icebreakers. And in either case, however they answer that, depending on their answer, you continue the conversation, right? In our portal, we have scripts for every situation. Everything I'm saying, we have scripts for that, right? Because can you imagine in 6 years that we have not come across a scenario that we haven't gotten an answer for and created scripts for to help guide you guys through? When I say this is a step-by-step process, that's exactly what it is, right? I mean, so That's the first document is the dispatcher agreement, the contract between you and that carrier. It explains who you are, the services you offer as a dispatch service. It also explains what your prices are. So I train as an instructor, I advise, I don't want to say train, I advise my students to decide if they want to charge a percentage per load, 5 to 10%, or a uh, flat fee for the week between $250 and $500. LaWanda just typed in load pilot has over a list of 200,000 carriers you can utilize if you purchase their TMS, right? So Load Pilot is a what's called a TMS, transportation management software. There are others out there, McLeod, Ascend, things of that nature. Thank you very much. So I don't know with Load Pilot, and I'm not saying this in a negative way. I don't know how much of that data is active or stale, right? Current as far as the carriers and their authorities being active. And I don't know if you know that as well, Lawanda, whether those 200,000 carriers, are they still under their authority? Are they still active? Things of that nature. Because we have other resources too. Like for example, let me show you, Lawanda, to kind of give you a scenario of what you just mentioned about Load Pilot. We have a tool in our load board. There's one called Trucking Planet. And with Trucking Planet, we have a feature in there where I'm logged in the Trucking Planet. Can you guys see my screen? You guys can see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So in Trucking Planet, it's a resource. I only use Trucking Planet, the one load board that I only use for not to find loads, but for other features is Trucking Planet. I use it to find carriers. So right here under carriers, you can look for licensed motor carriers in certain regions, the type of equipment types they have, dry vans, flatbed, step decks, refrigerated. So in this training, we advise and teach the dispatch students to focus on the top 3 major equipment types first, right? The dry van, the flatbeds, and the reefers, the big boys, because they are out here on the roads the most. You can find loads on them on the load boards the easiest, and they pay the higher rates. It stands to reason, right? The bigger your trailer, the more freight you can hold. Stands to reason you're going to get paid more money, as opposed to the specialties, hot shots, box trucks, sprinter vans, cargo vans, power onlys, things like that, right? Power onlys is kind of a hybrid. It's between a major equipment type and a specialty. It's hybrid because it's a power unit only without a trailer. So you can go ahead and grab chassis and get containers from the ports. You can grab preloaded trailers from distribution centers or DCs and do loadouts, towaways, things like that with power only units. And we go into that too, detail, right? There's so much in this ecosystem. So, but here on Trucking Planet, you can look up carriers, right? So let's look at dry van. Let's look at dry van carriers right here. So you click this screen and you see a list of carriers. So now, and look at all these, each page is about 20 carriers per page and so many pages, yada, yada, yada. So you got to vet and make sure that the data is not stale. So you would compare that, and I show you how to do this. You would get their MC number off of their listing or the name of their trucking company and put it into the Safer website. Let me show you that. Let's do an example real quick. So Tony Guerrero, let me open up another tab, the Safer tab. Safer website, right? I'm not going to go into this one. Let's open up another tab and let's go to it through our portal, right? So one of my students, tell me, how do I get to where is the Safer website in this portal? Let's see one of my students can help me find it. I forgot where it was at. Somebody please show me where the Safer is at. Where do I get to the Safer website? What tool, resource, or document location is the Safer website in the back office portal for this dispatcher one-on-one training? Where is it located?
Is it in the tools and resources?
Okay, under tools and resources, right here, tools and resources, click that. Okay, and yes, it is, trend lines, Safer. Boom, you click that button and boom. There we go. Safer. You said it like you was uncertain.
You didn't upgrade everything. It looks amazing in here. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. So right here, Safer. I created a Safer navigation video for those who don't know how to navigate Safer, and an FMCSA register video right here. These are YouTube videos if you click it. But if you click the image, it takes you to another tab to the Safer website. What is the Safer website? The Safer website, Safer is an acronym, Safety and Fitness Electronic Record. It says it right here in big letters. It is the FMCSA's quick reference company snapshot of all the freight brokers, freight forwarders, motor carriers. And this is public data, right? Because the FMCSA keeps a register of every company that they've given an authority or a license or a permit to, whether they've revoked it, whether it's active, whether it's suspended, all types of information in their register. Okay. You just have to understand how to navigate that. And I guess that's my job to show you, right? So here we had this person right here, Guerrero Trucking, right? There's his MC number 527593. I can simply copy that because the only downside with Trucking Planet is they don't update their portal in a timely way where there's a mixture of stale data and active data. So that's why I recommend the students to do an extra step to grab the MC and to go into Safer and put that MC. We'll check. We got the DOT radio button, we have the MC radio button, and we have a name button. I'm doing an MC, so I'll copy and paste that MC and I'll hit search. Right. So now I'm searching. What we're doing now, you would need to understand how to do this as an independent freight dispatcher, because what we're doing now is called vetting. We're vetting and qualifying a carrier before we decide to dispatch for them. Why is that so important? Because as a dispatcher, would it not be wise to make sure that your carrier actually has the proper credentials and authority to move the freight before you try to find them loads? Yes or no? Right? Would that be important? You want to have a motor carrier that has the authority to move freight before you find them freight. Because why? No freight broker, once you give the MC number to a freight, let's say you found a load on a load board for them, and unbeknownst to you, you didn't vet them beforehand. You got them set up with your dispatching service, you got all the documents, but you didn't vet them beforehand. And you give the MC number to the broker. Hey man, I found a load on a load board going from here to there. It's paying such and such. Is that load still available? The broker's going to say, yeah, sure, it's available. What's your MC number? Or what's your carrier's MC number? 527593. The broker's going to put it in their system, their TMS or their Safer Watch or whatever they're using to qualify. They do this all the time because brokers need to find out, number one, if that carrier's MC is already an approved carrier in their system or if it's not, to decide if they want to onboard them, or if it's already there that they've already been onboarded. One of two things, yes or no, right? Well, they come up with the MC and say, man, this person has been inactive for this reason. Sometimes they'll give it to you, other times they can't give it to you for legal reasons, right? But they'll say, this is what they'll say: we can't work with this carrier at this time. And they say it like that, and they leave it like that, then you know there's something wrong. Right. So now you got to circle back to your carrier and say, man, what's going on with your authority, man? I tried to book you this load, and the broker says they can't work with you. Oh man, I forgot to tell you. Now here comes the stories. Oh man, I forgot to tell you. Oh man, I let my insurance lapse. I got to renew it. I got to find another insurance company. It's going to take me a minute. Why in the world are you wasting my time and didn't tell me this beforehand? I would have been doing other stuff, right? So, but Safer here is the company snapshot and a vetting tool, free vetting tool by the FMCSA, where you can look up to see if a carrier is active or not, right? So right here, DOT information, their DOT status is active. their entity type, they are a motor carrier. They are a carrier. If they were not, it would say right here in big, bold, red letters, not authorized, as opposed to being authorized for property. Here's their MC number. Here's their information, their mailing address and physical address. They are authorized for hire. In other words, they can get loads from anybody. They haul intrastate only, non-hazmat. So they don't even cross they're not interstate. So what's the difference? I saw Monica say like, interesting. So what's the difference between interstate and intrastate is interstate, I-N-T-E-R, you can cross state lines and go into different states and get freight all over the country. Intrastate is your domicile state where you reside. You can move freight within that area, right? And non-HM means that they're non-hazmatic. So they're general freight, and it says it right here, general freight, right? So that's interesting because it says intrastate, but yet they have an MC number. Because an MC number dictates that you're more interstate. Now, if you just had a DOT number without an MC number, that would indicate intrastate. But they have both an MC and a DOT. So maybe this person selected this incorrectly. You never know. You would have to ask them that question. But anyway, and then you can check their inspections and things like that. You can also check in Safer up here where it says other information for this carrier. This is an important area as well. Their SMS results, but particularly we call it L&I, licensing and insurance. Click that. It takes you to this window here. You do this pre-check, make sure everything's good, hit search. Takes you to this screen right here, okay? In the corner, right here, view details, HTML. Right. So look at that. Look at that big bold. See, so the FMCSA doesn't play. If you want to find out something about any carrier, the FMCSA is going to tell you. Look, what does it say in big red bold letters? This entity has a pending insurance cancellation. In other words, they got to renew their insurance before they become inactive. Right? Right there in big bold letters. So when you're vetting your carriers, you just have to know what to look for and how to navigate the software that you're using at the time to make sure that everything is good. Okay? So this carrier is a contract carrier. That's why they are just DOT and just intrastate. I just saw it right here. Under authority status, most MC carriers are common carriers of property except household goods. Theirs say none. They are a contract carrier, which means they probably move just for a direct customer. They're an active contract carrier, right? So this one probably wouldn't be a good candidate for you to be a dispatcher for. The most common dispatchers we suggest that you work with are those who have the authority type common carrier of property except household goods. Okay? So, yeah. And LaDonna made a good point, too. They also post that big red. Basically, it's their insurance is getting ready to cancel, so they got to get on top of it before it does. It's warning the carrier to get it paid or it's going to get canceled. That's correct. Pending cancellation, right? So they're actually doing the carrier a favor, letting you know. Well, your insurance company should do that too, let you know, carrier. So, but the point here is understanding using the Safer tool to do your job as a dispatcher to properly vet the carrier, and then using the load board tool or this tool for looking up carriers to try to get under a contract with you as a dispatch service, right? This is just one of the many methods that we utilize in this platform to do, okay? So any questions there before I move on to the next point as far as the paperwork with the dispatching service? Someone typed in the chat. No questions? Any questions? All right. So the documents you need as a beginning dispatch service, the dispatcher packet, right? We said the dispatcher agreement, which is the contract between you and that carrier right here. The carrier profile. Now, when I show you these documents, these are templates that you're going to be making yourself. You're going to take our template example and put your company information in there and make it for your company and send it to the carrier, right? Now, I got videos to break this down thoroughly line by line. Right now, for the sake of time, we don't have to do that today, but I'm just giving it to you high level. The second one is the carrier profile. This is another template that you're going to send to the carrier. They're going to fill it out and return it to you. What is the carrier profile? It is the requirements that the carriers ask of you when you are finding freight for them. Hey, I want $2 a mile. Hey, I don't want to haul no more than 40,000 pounds. Hey, I want to go in this region of the country. I want to avoid the mountains and the tolls. They're giving you specific requirements. And so you search for loads on the load boards according to those requirements. And when you find something, you contact the carrier, let them know you got it. The worst thing you can do as an independent freight dispatcher is book a load with a broker or a shipper without your carrier knowing what that load is, right? Because you don't know if your carrier is under load, empty, what they got going on. So you share what you found with the carrier so that they can decide whether or not they want a load. You may find a good load, but the carrier say, hey, man, that's a good load, but it's not going in the direction I want to go in. I'm trying to get back home to family, such and such and such, right? So the carrier profile is the specifics. And then the last document in our 3-document dispatcher packet is what we call the limited power of attorney, okay? Not the power of attorney, not the durable power of attorney. There's different types. The limited power of attorney is the carrier, and there's two main points to the limited power of attorney. It is where the carrier authorizes and gives you, the dispatcher, permission to sign and print their names on the documents that you're going to be utilizing or doing booking loads for that carrier under with the broker. There are 2 documents, the broker carrier agreement and the rate confirmation. Those are the 2 documents to book a load. The broker carrier agreement gets that carrier set up and onboarded with a specific brokerage. The rate confirmation officially books that load for that specific broker, for that carrier at that point in time, right? The limited power of attorney says, hey, I'm the carrier. I'm authorizing with this signed, notarized document by a public notary for the for the dispatcher to represent me when they find loads for me and sign and print my name. I'm giving them permission to do that. So the carrier has to have this document notarized. The person who is giving someone else permission to represent them is the person that needs to have this document notarized. Who is that? That's the motor carrier, the truck driver. Okay. So I'll stop there for now because I know that's a lot of information and I haven't even been through the other points in the portal, like the modules, right? We have modules, we have quizzes in the modules that talk about these things in a little bit more detail, right? Go down here, finish up the modules, the different equipment types, what they look like, what they are, the specialties, the methods of how to get them, the scripts. And then we have the quiz for each module, right? Then we go to module 2, same thing. Load boards. We have all the information about the load boards. And then we have a quiz. Then we go to module 3. See? We have booking the loads. In other words, what's the workflow of the dispatcher? What is the process in booking a load? Finding a load on the load board, talking to the broker, doing the paperwork, booking the load, that whole workflow, okay? Module 4 does not, I don't think module 4 has a quiz in it. I don't think it's necessary, Mr. Eloy. There's not a quiz in invoicing because it's just invoicing the carrier, right? So after, and it's not invoicing the carrier from the perspective of invoicing for the carrier to the broker. It's invoicing the carrier from the perspective of invoicing the carrier for your services of dispatching for them, right? So if you booked a load for a carrier that was a $3,000 load and you charge 10%, then how much are you going to invoice that carrier for? Pop quiz. If you booked a $3,000 load gross, you invoice according to the gross amount of the load, not after they pay for fuel and tolls and all this other stuff. $300, very good, $300. So that's what you would invoice for. And we talk about all the invoices in here and show you the BOL and things like that. Okay, so just giving you a tour of the back office, especially for those of you who are guests. And then we have private Facebook group, we have merch, referrals, web design. I actually do web design. So everything you're looking at here on this website, I designed it. Okay. So, and then we have our exam center, the final exam, certificate request, cancel or in-person training. I'm trying to get that going again, get enough people to sign up. I may have a Virginia in-person training reunion so what you see in the background of this is the Exodus Logistics Learning Center. That building is the Exodus Logistics Learning Center. Okay. And there is my truck right there with the logo on it and everything. But yeah, we may think about that. Where do I go from module 4? You go home. No, module 4 is, so if you get to module 4 and you understand everything, that's pretty much it. That's the workflow. That's the process. Now you just enhance and tighten up the 4 modules, the 4 steps, understanding it. You go from module 4, you go into practicing all the modules and implementation. So you go from learning to reinforcing the learning through implementation and doing. To answer your question, Samsung Eloy, implementation is your next step. Now you could implement after each module, like after module 1, getting the carriers. You can implement that. Okay, you went through module 1, you understand it. Okay, go get a carrier using the steps in module 1, right? And then you can go to module 2, go through module 2, do the quizzes, understand the load boards, and then take the carrier you got from module 1 and implement module 2. Find them a load using a load board, things of that nature, right? Find them a load, and then go to module 3 and implement that. Booking the load. Okay, how do you talk to the broker? What do you say? How do you negotiate the rate? How do you put your percentage on top of that? Things of that nature. So you can either implement after each module, or you can wait to the end of all 4 modules and implement everything at one time. And then hopefully at the end of everything, module 4, your 90 days may be up, and you may decide you want to continue with accessing all the resources continuously in the portal after your 90 days. You can do that on a month-to-month basis. We allow you to continue monthly on the month-to-month basis to continue to access everything, because you may not get it all in 90 days, and you may still need access to everything after 90 days. So we allow for that to happen as well. My wife will send you an email a week prior to your 90 days expiring asking you, do you want to continue? Okay. So, all right. So I'm done talking. I talk too much. So, Monica, is there anything else you want to add from your perspective?
No, learning every time I come into the sessions, I learn something new from you. So it's it shows how important it is to keep checking in, don't, once you learn it, don't you just go away and forget about us, because there's always in any industry, in transportation, is always new things coming up, new software, new tools. So always check in and keep learning, because there's always something new to learn every day. So I really appreciate the time, the opportunity. Always, I don't get into the sessions all the time, like every other week. I try, but I love to meet every one of you. I'm always here to help. My contact information is there for any, email or calls. If I don't answer, leave me a voicemail. I'll call you right back just to, get to know you and help you as much as I can. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Monica. Oh, by the
Thank
way,
you so
too,
much.
for those of you who want to understand cold calling, we have a partnership with one of our former dispatchers as well. And her husband is one of my former freight broker students, one of the best ones, um, Chasa with Legacy Dispatcher. So in the center of the screen right here in our portal, she has her times for cold calling sessions, her email, and her Zoom link and credentials. So the next one will be actually tomorrow, Thursday, from what is that, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can log into her Zoom call, Chasa at Legacy Dispatchers. Here's the Zoom link. Click the button. Here's the credentials right here. And she calls carriers live and talks to them and try to get the carriers under a dispatch agreement. So we have live, free cold calling sessions through the Exodus Logistics Learning Center, sponsored by Legacy Dispatchers. So another way to add value to the portal and to the training, right? So check her out. And some people say, yeah, they'll be there. So everybody knows who Chasa. Well, I don't want to say everybody, but Chasa is pretty known as what she does. So that's good as well. And then someone just asked about the video being recorded and where can they get it from. So in the portal, this this video, I'm saying, this Zoom video and all other videos is right here under tools, docs, and resources. After tonight's training, what I hit? After tonight's training, under here where it says training videos library, I'm going to upload it into YouTube and download it into this, or upload it into this area under the month of July for the training videos library right here. And it will be under July because you can look them up for each month. I have hundreds and hundreds of former recorded Zoom videos for you to watch to your heart's content, right? And a lot of it's repetitive because that's important for beginner training because you need to repeat everything for you to learn, right? So the month of July, we scroll down to it. And right here, the 27th of July, 2024 is the latest one because this is the second week, the first video in the second week of July that we've done. We canceled Sunday because of the 4th of July weekend. But today, July 9th, 2025 will be in its place. And this one, July 27th, 2024 will push to the right. So it updates itself. Boom, boom, boom. So you're scrolling across all the July videos, so on and so forth. July, 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 July. And you can load more. All in July, right? And if you want to go to another month, it goes all the way back to 2019. Some cases 2018, but 2019 for each month. I mean, there is so much content in this portal that I literally forgot where some stuff is. So I will have to create an index and a glossary, if you will, an index to kind of know where certain things are. I'm gonna have to get my wife to work on that. She'll tell me what things are, and I'll create the index and have her do the legwork. So she's gonna hate hearing that, but but anyway, so that's where it's located, Mr. Eloy. You asked where the videos were, so you can go back and watch it in the dispatch portal, which you have access to as a student. Everything back here, right? The main meat of your training will be the modules right here, the self-paced modules, and then the resources that you use in addition to the modules to help reinforce your learning. That's the main meat right here. These are like supplemental stuff, the exam center and all the social media stuff. All right. But yes, thank you, Monica. A lot of great information. Any final questions, guys, before we get off this training? This will be on YouTube as well to kind of encourage other people to come on as guests. Any questions from the guests? Who is Motorola? Motorola, what is your name? Like you're driving. I don't know if that's Vancia. I thought it was Vancia. It might be Vancia. And then Lawanda, do we hopefully that helped you a little bit.
Can I
Hey, did y'all?
say
I'm sorry.
one final comment? It's just not really factoring related, but because I've been working with so many dispatchers, it's something that I always tell them. A lot of people, carriers, everybody in the industry, we get a lot of emails all the time. So and I find myself, oh, I need to talk to this dispatcher. I need to give her a call. So if I have not created a long spreadsheet with all my contact information, because I'm not as organized as Charles is, I just look up my email, my inbox, because I remember the dispatcher's name. So I look up my invoice, hoping I can get a dispatcher's email with a signature line that has a phone number. But most of the time, or a lot of dispatchers, they don't have a signature line. That signature line on your email, it gives your company branding when you have a logo already. When you always send, when you email, put your logo there, your contact information, your phone number. So not only can find your contact information quickly, but also start the branding of your business. The logo, the colors, and so it's always a good suggestion to have a signature line when you offer your dispatches services.
I agree. It does for branding, marketing, and promoting, and
Mhm.
it puts you out there. It shows what's called visibility in the industry, visibility. So everybody knows you. Like everybody knows. So when it comes to visibility, Nike, McDonald's, you know, visibility, right? All these big companies, branding, marketing, and promoting. So that's how it starts.
And also
Also,
create a business email. It could be a Gmail, but it's just a business. Not Don't use your personal email.
yeah,
It looks better. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, Lawanda just put hers out. Very good one. Look at that, LFT Transport. So she just put one in the she downloaded it into or uploaded it into the
Hey,
chat.
nice.
Yep. And then Monica, I had a question for you specifically. Do you have a list of, because I know you want carriers to start giving you PODs, but do you have a list of potential carriers with decent authorities, aged authorities, maybe a year or so or better, who may be looking for dispatchers?
Correct. Yes, we have carriers and they come new. Sometimes a dispatcher will send them and well they just come in and they always try to find loads and some of them they need a dispatcher. So sometimes they ask me, hey, do you have a dispatcher that moves certain loads? So and I've sent some names and numbers and sometimes they will start working with certain dispatcher.
Okay, so you have a system already that you already use. Because I was going to suggest sending a list to me, and then I vet them out and then give them to dispatchers who may not have a carrier for a while, who may be needing a carrier. But if you have a system that you're utilizing already, I don't want to interrupt that. So um, I would,
It's just not really because our new carriers, a lot of them come through referrals, and the referrals are dispatchers. Sometimes they just stick with the dispatcher, so they don't actually need a dispatcher.
got
The
you.
the ones that are always needing dispatchers are the box trucks.
Of course.
and yeah, and sometimes I manage to find somebody that can help them out depending on the location and all that, but yeah, those are the ones. But once in a while, I get some people asking for a dispatcher for specific equipment. So,
Okay. No problem.
yeah, and like I said, it's just the referral program is something you can email me your information, your email, your company name, and I can send you our referral agreement. It's just a formality or some document just to have your contact information there, and just email me. I'll send my referral information there, the referral program, how it works. And the best way to refer a carrier is by email. Just shoot me an email with their contact information, MC number, company name, owner's name, email address, and phone number. And I'll give them a call, get them signed up, and we'll update you on the progress. So, because sometimes when you I can send you flyers, I can send you information that you can forward to them. And sometimes they have the name 7 O's, they Google the name, they call, and they they don't ask for me, or they don't remember what you told them about asking for me, and they just go away in the sales department, and I never found out that it was one of the old dispatchers that sent them over. So always email. Email is, paper trail, and so that information is there and nobody gets confused of who sent who, you know.
Right, you need to track them. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Email is always a great way. So
okay. Very good, Monica. Thank you, guys.
thank you. Any
Monica.
other questions? Email me, call me. I'll be glad to help.
All right, Monica. Have a good one.
Thank you. See you next time.
Okay.
Bye, LaDonna.
All right, guys. That was Monica Case from Seven Oaks Factoring, our exclusive factoring provider for the eventual carriers you're going to have. Get right. So, just want to mention a few things before I get off. First of all, are there any questions? Everybody understand what the role of a dispatcher can be, will be, potentially be for you? You just need a carrier, right, to get going. You just actually have to do the work. I think the material, the training is here. You just gotta get a carrier in order to implement what you are learning, right? That's that's the bridge right there. That's the conduit that puts the two together. Getting the carrier. I was going to mention a little bit. Now I'm implementing a mentorship program as well. A little bit beyond dispatching 101, it's more 102. With dispatching dispatcher, freight broker, uh, and trucking, right? And it's on a monthly basis. Freight dispatcher, freight broker, and me and my beautiful wife. And look, she always dominating pictures too. She need to take a picture alone by myself. I can't put my wife in a picture with me because she dominates it. Look at that smile. That's crazy. I can't win. So, and then trucking. So, and then trucking. This is actually me at the Logistics Learning Center, actually teaching a course in person with some of the students, about 20 students. I think Shiante was at that one. So getting that started again too. So that's going to be the mentorship program. The reason I started that is because I'm working right now directly with a large fertilizer distributor in the Virginia Beach area. So I'm learning this is going to make this platform universal. I'm learning the shipping piece. I've already got the brokering piece down, trucking and dispatching. So can you imagine all of that stuff together, right? So no stone will be left unturned at this point, right? And then if things go well with LaWanda and myself, I can even learn something from her. I don't want a dime from her. Let me we're on record, right? I don't want a dime from her. I want to learn from her, right? So I'm willing to yield myself. So good instructors know you know what you know and you know what you don't know, right? And you recognize that. So I've learned that over time the hard way. So I am in the government space because the Exodus Logistics Learning Center, matter of fact, I need to put that up here. We are registered with SAM. We are SWAM certified on the state level. I haven't got my MBE and DBE yet, but I am applying. So I need to add those logos to the website so people, matter of fact, LaWanda, here, if you go to the homepage, here is my capability statement to kind of reinforce the fact that we are registered with the government, right? There it is. So core competencies, differentiators, all the NAICS codes, NIGPs. So Exodus Logistics Learning Center, UEI, cage code, everything. You recognize this. You see this all the time. So right, I'm beating the dead horse right here, right now at this point. But yeah, so it is what it is. We can bounce ideas off of each other. And then I can share it with my group and the dispatchers, So I have a hand raised. Shiante, yes.
I actually need to do this because I'm SWAM certified as well. Did you design this yourself?
I had what's the young lady's name that Trayanda Towns designed this for me. She's great at desktop publishing and she's also government certified, but she did this for me. I can get her contact and she's a student, but she also has a skill set in desktop publishing and doing designs and stuff like that. So that's another thing we need to do. I need to get everybody's skill set, create a networked environment for students of other skills you can do, and then put it out there in the universe, right? Well, not the universe, but you know what I'm saying. So for so we can add value to everyone and they can come to one centralized platform and get those skills from everybody. You understand what I'm going with it? I may not be saying it correctly, but I'm just saying I want to make sure, that we utilize not just our dispatching skills, but we have pivotable skills in addition to transportation, right? That can make money, right? So, I mean, I'm sure there's certain things that we can do other than dispatching that some of you are probably at work right now, right? So, but we want to make sure that yeah, teamwork. There you go. Zoe, teamwork is everything. And yeah, great idea for networking. So I want to make an internetworked and I want to protect it and privatize it in a way that no one taints it, no one contaminates it, and to make sure it's just us that's benefiting from it as far as internally, but we're providing a service and adding value externally. You see what I'm saying? Because you got a lot of people out here now, for whatever reason, with AI technology and malicious intent, just doing goofy stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have time for that at all. Well, first of all, I'm too old, but second of all, I'm too old, so I don't have time. Right? We trying to build something right here. Oh yeah, we want to, and I probably need to create a board or a team of like you guys advisors so we can kind of because I don't want to make the decision by myself because it could be motivated by emotion and things like that. So I want to have a board and we come up with a decision, you know, collectively. LaDonna said Wall Street, like a small little Wall Street, right? But a board that we come up with it, that we protect each other internally, and then we assist each other internally, and then add value to people externally. And I'm sure that everybody that's listening on that will be listening on the YouTube channel and listening in who are students. I can't imagine someone who's going to say, I don't want to do that. I can probably imagine everyone is in agreement with what I'm saying, the idea. I may not be saying it correctly, but you guys get the point, right? But I want to make sure that I add value for it. LaWanda, are you good? I want to make sure because my main point was to make sure that you were okay and that we can start our process of moving forward and what we got to do.
Yes, I'm good.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So, and hopefully I checked all the boxes for you.
You did. But I do have a question. Now I know about the next codes, but the NIGP codes.
The
What are those?
NIGP stands for National Institute of Government Purchasing. So it's kind of similar. The next codes and the PSC codes, product and service codes, PSC. NAICS is North American Industry Classification System, right? Those are federal. NIGP is federal. No, I'm sorry, NIGP is not federal. That's state. But no, it's federal, National Institute of Government Purchasing, right? So you can look up the NIGP codes, and there's a website. When we talk more intimately, I'll show you the different resources that I use on the government side. And then Shianta just asked a question about wanting to do this too. So I may have to create a separate Zoom. And if you're willing to come in to that as well, Luana, I know you, for time purposes, where we can see where each other is, and then find a median where we are, and then kind of grow together, right? In the government, because the government space, they have a tendency to overpay for stuff. You just got to be able to get past the red tape and understand how to bid. And you got requests for quotes, RFPs, requests for information, RFIs. What's the other one? Quick quotes, QQs. There's all these other RFPs, RFIs, all these other different things, all these different solicitations. And you have to understand, once you understand how to play the game, then you'll be okay with the government. Now, I have people who are experienced, and I didn't share this with LaWanda yet, but I'm saying it now, in getting and winning contracts, writing proposals, right? So my job is to be able to network everyone together for like-minded purposes, right? And once we do that, and there is no ill intent or maliciousness behind it. Everybody knows who I am. Everybody knows me. I'm not about that nonsense, right? So I want to help you, right? Not hurt you. I don't benefit from helping anyone. I mean, from hurting anyone. I'm sorry. I benefit from helping, right? So, right. Shiante said, I just submitted a second swim application for my vending business. Hopefully I get it this. I have a vending machine, two vending machines, a combo at my car wash. Shiante, you need to come by there when you get time, and we can talk about. And then also, Zoe, I need you to come by there too. I ain't seen you in a while. You guys come by. And Zoe, I think Zoe and Shianta, you guys know each other. I introduced you to already, right? So I'll be there by the end of the week. Okay. Yeah, we'll do lunch, right? We're all in the 757 Virginia. I need to put together like a Exodus Logistics Learning Center family reunion, right, in Virginia Beach, right? Come down to the ocean front. Let's come have some fun and network and cut loose, so to speak, right? Take this show on the road, right? But anyway, are there any questions, any final questions? We're getting close to the end of our journey. Simsong, Eloa, you good? Your questions. You're a new student. I want to make sure you're good.
Yes, sir. I am good. Thank you so very much.
Where are you from? You sound African.
I am African American. I'm from Haiti, sir.
Haiti. Well, close
Yes.
enough. Close enough,
Yes.
right?
Oh, that's where they came from. If you know the history.
Yeah, you got that right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then Sherry, I think I invited you as a guest. Sherry said she's good. Okay, so that's good. I don't want to interrupt you guys at work, so don't unmute yourself. I don't want you to get fired or anything like that. You're at work, just type in the chat, right?
Real quick.
Yes, who is that?
Ellis.
Hey, what's up, Ellis?
Well, my Zoom keeps dropping for some reason. I don't know. It happened yesterday and it happened again. So I missed a portion of it. And when you got down, I guess you were talking about government contracting. I gave you that information to Melanie Patterson at did you are you able to kind of do any research on her?
I did research on her. I reached out to her, left some information, haven't heard back. You're a good
I have a call with her tomorrow. I'll bring that up. Just, in case you want to get her on the show or you want to pick her brain, aside from the show, and then you can do whatever you need to do going forward. But, good person to talk to.
What's her title? What's her title again? She's on the government side, right? What's her title?
Yeah. She has a she has a thing called iSourceGovCon.com. That's the website, and it's they just changed something. Damn it, right off the top of my head too.
Okay. She's part of the GovCon family.
Yeah, Integrity Learning Knowledge Center. Shoot.
That's okay.
Yeah, I have a bunch. I'm not in front of my computer right now, so I'm on the farm on the road right now. So
okay.
But yeah, I have all.
It sounds like she's she may be a procurement specialist too, like a PTAC. I'm not sure, but I don't know what time your call is. It's California time because I know you're in California.
Yeah, with tomorrow it's at 1:30 my time. So it'll be 1:30, so it'll be 3:30 her time.
And it'd be 4:30 my
4:30,
time.
yeah, your time.
I don't know if she's comfortable with it, but when you do call her, I wouldn't mind, but you would three-way me in so I can kind of, be a fly on the
Well,
wall.
it's a Zoom meeting she's doing
Okay,
with me. Yeah, it's a Zoom call. But what I'll do is I'll definitely run this by her. I'll put your name out there. That let her know because she has a team that actually does reach out to people. In fact, I could call one of them. In fact, I'll do that. Uh, I'll talk to her tomorrow and see if I need to just contact one of her other people on her team that actually makes contact. 'Cause Chasa spoke with her. She got a chance to talk to Chasa.
okay,
Uh-huh. But yeah, so I'll definitely run that by her, because I mean, again, like I said, you can talk to her, and I mean, obviously you'll have a better understanding of what it is that she do,
right,
and whether or not if it's even something that you want to go forward with as far as sharing it with, the rest of the people in the group.
right, right. Okay, that'll work. Yeah,
Okay.
networking is always good, so we can at least see what's what's possible and what's not possible. So, okay, thanks, Mr. Ellis. I appreciate that. All right. Um, okay, guys, any final questions before we get off? And if for those of you who are guests or potentially considering maybe possibly enrolling in this course, Dispatcher 101, or even Freight Broker for that matter, uh, the dispatching course, we are having a 25% off sale right now for the month of July. It started July 4th, 25% off, and it's already rolled into the price. So the current price was $399, but now 25% off that's like $100, $99.50. So it's like $299 that gets you access for 90 days. The course already marked off right on the website, right? The 2-for-1 is already marked off also at 25%. So that is the dispatcher course, online course. This is all what you get. Everything that we showed you in the portal explains what all you get. Please read below. I tell people that all the time. They'll sign up. I'm not saying that read below because there's something hidden for you, but I just want you to be informed of what you're going to receive with your 90 days. That's all. It's no hidden fees or anything like that, in addition to or whatever, right? This $39.99 monthly subscription comes after 90 days if you decide to continue after 90 days on a month-to-month basis, cancel anytime. So that's what that's for. So, but there you have it. All right, guys. And if you want to get a hold of me, guys, listening in on the YouTube channel, which this will be on, as well as internally now, I can be reached at area code 757-515-1684. Email exoduslogisticsllc at yahoo.com. I'm gonna give you my wife. So y'all bug my wife, first of all. 757-695-9565. Her name is Tasha. And then her info, her email is tm at exodusdispatchingandtraining.com. Okay. So, but yeah. All right. All right, guys. I appreciate your time. Want to make sure that there's no final questions. And then thanks again to the guests and those tuning in for the very first time who were interested in at least finding out what are some of the things that we have to offer and what are the kind of training. And we didn't even get into the meat of the training, like showing you certain things, but it is. Hey,
Miss,
Jasmine.
I have a question, Mr. Charles.
Yes.
Like, if I'm at work, right? How do I go in, like through the back office, so that I can kind of hear it at work? Like sometimes on Saturdays, it's mandatory that I'm at work,
Okay.
but I can listen, but I don't know how to do it. I've always been on my laptop when I'm attending
Okay. So
class.
on your computer or laptop, you have a plug for your headphones, right? You plug your headphones in and blah, blah, blah,
But
right?
can I do it? I can't do it through my phone?
You can. You can. So,
How?
okay. So access the portal in your phone through your browser in your phone, right?
Okay.
Go open up the internet on your phone and access it there, and then go into the access the back office from your phone.
Okay.
and then go to the training videos in the back office, right? Training videos
Okay.
page. So you click
Okay.
that and then select which video. Let's go to July. And let's say and then once you click a video you want to see, you click play video, and it's going to open up to a YouTube video, but it's going to be in your phone. And you're going to be listening to, you're going to have headphones plugged in, right? When you're listening on your phone, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like you know how you like we're zooming, like these folks are zooming now, but some of them are on their phone and they're watching you live. How
Right.
can I do that?
Well, that's only when I'm broadcasting live, you'll be able to
Right.
watch me.
That's what I need. That's
Right.
what I need.
So then you would have to, when my next live session comes in, which will
That'll
be
be Saturday.
Saturday at 12 noon, you would just
Right.
click the Zoom link to tune in. So Saturday before noon, click
Uh-huh.
the Zoom link to be able to access that. Where's the Zoom link? Well, inside the portal, it's here, right there on the Zoom schedule. But if you're someone outside who don't have access to the portal,
Right.
go up to here under Dispatcher One-on-One and click the Zoom calendar link and go to this page right here. And then click this Join Now button. It'll take you to the Zoom page. You'll open the meeting and then go back and enter the meeting ID and passcode right there.
Okay.
Okay. If you have questions prior to that, give me a call around 11:30 or so,
Okay.
and we'll
Okay.
get you set up. All right.
Okay. And one more question. On the trucking mentoring, that $99, that's a one-time fee. Is it a one-time fee? And how long is that mentorship?
The
That
fee
mentorship.
it's a monthly fee. It's $99 a month because
Okay.
mentoring is not just a one-time thing. It's
Right.
ongoing,
Absolutely.
depending on how long you need the mentorship. So
Right.
it's so much per month. So either which one you looking at? Dispatcher, freight broker, or trucking mentorship?
The dispatching.
Dispatcher
Well, the trucking.
trucking.
Yeah. Is that
Okay.
the
So
it's three of them. Okay, the
yeah, two
dispatching.
different
Dispatching.
mentorships. Yeah. So if you're someone who wants to start a trucking company, get your authority to deal with compliance, pick a truck. Like I just came from Baltimore. I was at a truck auction, place called Ritchie Brothers, and we out there looking at different equipments, mainly box trucks, and then I did a video on it.
Oh, okay.
What is it? The power units and everything, the Kenworths, the Peterbilts, the K Dubs, the Peets,
Mhm.
Max. I did a video in the on my YouTube channel, I believe it was. I did the video. I can't remember when I posted that, but yeah, I did a video on it. We were literally on site. I was walking
Wow.
the 5 acre campus, feet hurting and everything, sweating like a dog. I'm like, man, what am I doing out here? But I love my students so much, I had to get out
Right.
there and show you guys what was going on. Right?
Okay.
So that's what we did.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. So, and that's the dispatching one. I actually clicked on the wrong one. I was on the trucking. The dispatching one, it go down and what's the days on that?
So I'm gonna have to update that because
Okay.
right now, right for July,
Uh-huh.
no one has signed up for this yet, but these are the 2 weeks. But I'll keep them on a monthly basis. So it'll
Uh-huh.
be 6 to 8 on Monday and the 14th, 6 to 8 on Monday the 28th for those who sign up for the month of July. And then every month I will have the schedule out for it, but six to
Okay.
eight. And mentorship on dispatching is something as simple as putting a live carrier on the phone for you, trying to help you get a carrier, help you move your
Okay.
first load or first few loads. So it includes
Okay.
a lot of
Yeah,
things.
that's what I need. Yeah, I need that.
Yep.
I need that in my life.
So right here, mentoring includes basic
Okay.
setup, document management, carrier acquisition, load board mastery, brokered load process, networking, much, much more.
Okay.
So it's like
Okay.
the next
The
level,
next level up.
the dispatcher 101. You can almost say
Okay.
dispatcher 201, right?
Okay.
Or more
Okay.
advanced training, right?
Okay.
And more of me on an intimate level with you one-on-one kind of thing.
Okay. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be getting that done.
All righty.
If I sign up this month, Can I start next month on it?
You can do whatever. You know how flexible I am. You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right, guys. Again, for the guests who are listening in, hopefully you got some good content and some good information. And this recording will be in the back office tonight. And I may put it on also the YouTube channel for those who are out there tuning in, looking for some service to get, some training to get, right? And looking for a training provider to help them with that training. So maybe they don't even know who I am yet. They don't recognize it, but they may be a YouTube subscriber, and I'll just throw something up there and they'll happen to see it and get their attention, right? Or however, right? But yeah. All right. I want to thank you guys for your time. Appreciate it. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided and chose to spend your time with me. So for that, I'm greatly appreciative. My wife is not here now. She's getting her hair done, apparently. But but yeah. So you guys have a great night, and I will see you, what's today? Wednesday. I will see you Saturday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. All right. Again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you.